the number one thing you need to have, especially after experiencing betrayal. So ito talaga yung isa sa pinakaimportante na kailangan mo, hindi lang after betrayal, even if okay, let me go ahead and check my Facebook page first, and if naririnig ko rin yung sarili ko. Okay? One moment lang. Thing you need to have. Okay, so narinig ko nga yung sarili ko. Alright, I just hope na magiging smooth yung internet connection ko for this evening, for me not to have any problem. Okay, so with that, let me just utter a very short prayer. Lord, maraming maraming salamat, Lord, for this evening na bawat head na makakarinig nito, Lord, kung babae man o lalaki, ay talagang mag-saturate and tumatak sa puso nila yung very important lesson that I needed to share to this woman or this man this evening. Especially, Lord, all those depressed, cheated women. Maraming maraming salamat, Lord, for speaking through me this evening and for guarding the internet connection and everything that we're going to have for this evening. In all these, Lord, I ask and pray in Jesus' mighty name. Amen and amen. Ayun, so anyway, good evening to you who are watching right now. Alam ko that your time is very valuable, so hindi na ako magpapaligoy-ligoy pa. And the very reason why I'm doing this FJ Live Therapy is, of course, I would love your Friday bago ka matulog filled with God's words, especially for this evening na kakabalik ko lang. So, if you are one of my email subscribers, you should know kung bakit ngayon lang ako nakabalik doing the live therapy, which is every Friday evening at 9 p.m. na talagang kinontrata ko na with the Lord. And I also posted one of the reasons here also sa Facebook page. So wherever you're watching right now, either from YouTube or from Facebook, then or maybe from Instagram. So please know that what you're going to learn this evening is hindi lang applicable sa healing after cheating. Okay? And I'm really doing this kasi very, very important na topic ito. So, with that, I would love to ask you, may kilala ka ba na maybe friend or family member na never pa nagsinungaling? Okay? Do you know anyone na never pa nag-lie, 'di ba? When we talk about betrayal, normally trust issues yung pinag-uusapan natin. So most likely, nasira yung trust. Big word trust, okay? So may kilala ka ba na never pa talaga nagsinungaling? Meron bang taong gano'n? Okay? Comment pa naman below for me to know kasi baka naman meron nga talagang gano'n, 'di ba? Parang mahimala. Okay. So, for me kasi wala akong kilalang tao na never pa nakapag-lie or sinungaling. And honestly, kahit ako, ever since nung bata pa ako, nakapag-lie din ako. Okay? And that's basically, I bet, the same with you. Mula nung bata ka, may mga karanasan ka or experiences wherein you have really tried lying. Okay? And for this evening, we're going to talk about lies, okay? And what you needed to have, yun nga, para ma-counterfeit naman yung lies mo or para ma-bless ka pa rin ni Lord, okay? So, meron tayong mga tinatawag na white lies. Minsan, have you heard about that? Narinig mo na ba yung tinatawag na white lies? Okay? Or ano yung pinaka isipin mo ngayon, mula nung bata ka, ano yung pinakamalaki or yung feeling mo biggest lie na ginawa mo? And nag-produce ba yun ng blessing? Or did it have any positive impact or negative impact? Okay. And I'd also love to know, to you watching right now, where are you watching from? For me to also know. And if narinig mo ba ako? Okay. Just go ahead and check if, yeah, if narinig ba ako ngayon dito sa phone ko. I guess so. Okay, narinig ko pa rin naman kasi I'm also checking. Right? So, pinakaimportante na the biggest the biggest reason, okay, kung bakit kailangan mong malaman kung kailan or ano dapat yung value na i-a-apply mo sa isang bagay. Para na naman, in the end, you'll still receive a blessing, not a curse. Okay? So, sa buhay mo, maybe ngayon may mga problems ka na pinagdadaanan, either financial issues, maybe related to your marriage, maybe to your relationship, or maybe to your family member, kahit sino man yun. So, and in every kind of problem, meron ka mga desisyon na need mong mabigyan ng exact na answer agad. Okay? So, or exact na decision kung will you go through it or hindi. Okay? So, let me just go ahead and check. I'm not seeing anything here sa chat section ko. Okay. I'm, yeah, okay. I'm just wondering if you can hear me live or if everything is okay. All right. But what I'm really going to share this evening is about, okay, I'm just checking right now, is really about you making the right decision. Okay? So if nabasa mo yung post ko kanina sa Facebook, it's all about you having the right wisdom. Maybe you'll ask me right now, FJ, paano nga ba magkaroon ng right wisdom? Okay? Gusto mo ba yon magkaroon ng right wisdom? So, sa ngayon, I would love to let you know na in any kind of decision making, bakit nga ba kailangan mo ng wisdom? Okay? So, here's why. In any kind of decision making na you have, kailangan mo first and foremost is knowledge. Like, kahit saang bagay, maybe with your lessons, or kahit nung bata ka pa, or kahit sa anak mo ngayon, magmo-module, kailangan mo ng knowledge. Paano ko ba sagutan 'to? 'Tong problem na 'to, how would I solve this X? What is the value of X? Okay? So, that's basically you having the right information. Okay? And you can have the information through textbooks, through videos, through lessons, through classes, and through seminars, and through anywhere or any kind of lesson na makukuhanan mo. Okay? And next is understanding. Okay? So, for you to have success in anything, kailangan muna ng knowledge, which is equal to information. Next, kailangan mo ng understanding. Need mong maintindihan at tumatak sa puso mo ano yung information na nakuha mo. Okay? So, kagaya na yan sa relationship mo. After mo malaman ang lahat ng information na bagabag, parang nabulol pa ako doon na. So, magpapagabagabag ng puso mo and would calm you down, then you need to understand why it happened. Okay? So, without you understanding the current situation that you have right now in your relationship, it wouldn't make sense moving forward. Okay? So, next is the most important thing, wisdom. And yun yung pag-uusapan natin today. So, wisdom, kailangan mo to because wisdom is the application. So, in anything that you want in life, gusto mo bang maging successful, ma-promote sa trabaho? Or maybe gusto mong mahalin ka pa ng sobra-sobra ng husband mo, even if you have experienced betrayal? Kasi in all cases that I've handled, betrayal naman or cheating isn't really the end of the relationship. Sometimes it might even make the relationship better. Because I tell you, if you are experiencing that same pain or depression right now after his betrayal, definitely that is just a season. That is just a temporary defeat. So you need the right wisdom because wisdom is equal to application. So kahit gaano pa man karami ng mga information at kahit naintindihan mo paano nangyayari, kung wala kang application, hindi mo alam paano i-apply ang right steps for you to have a better marriage or the version 2.0 of your marriage, nothing would really happen. Okay. And that's why for the lesson that I'm going to teach to you this evening, and I'm going to tell you a very wonderful story, then I'm talking about wisdom and how you can grow your wisdom. Okay. So going back, ano nga ulit yung wisdom? You can answer maybe through your head right now. Ano nga ba ulit yung wisdom? Again, uulitin ko. Wisdom is equal to application. So that's how you apply what you have learned. Okay? So, hindi ibig sabihin na example, nung nag-aaral ka pa or nag-aaral ang anak mo, naku, napaka-brainy naman ng anak ni Tess. Buti pa siya, 'di ba? Kung kahit valedictorian pa 'yan or alam mo, number one sa class yung anak ni Marites. Pero kung hindi naman paglaki naman niya ay hindi niya in-apply lahat ng kanyang nalaman, kahit cum laude pa 'yan or magna cum laude, kung pag-graduate ng anak ni Marites, wala siyang right application, hindi siya nag-take action, ano sa tingin mo mangyayari sa anak niya, 'di ba? So that's why we should never compare. You should never compare your situation with anyone else. Kasi baka siya naging okay yung whatever she's trying to be okay sa relationship niya or maybe sa family niya, sa career niya, kasi she's applying something that she've learned. And what about you? Are you applying something? Or are you upgrading yourself and learning more? That's information. That's knowledge. Are you upgrading your learning knowledge? Are you understanding what you've learned just right now? Or are you understanding what you've learned recently? And third, did you apply? Okay. So that's why today I'm going to share to you this very wonderful story from the Bible. And dahil nga I really into holistic healing, as I've mentioned also through email, so I'm really promoting holistic healing, meaning I really am into spiritual, emotional, mental, physical, social, and of course, financial healing. Okay? So when it comes to healing after cheating, normally lahat ng aspects na yan affected. Let's say sa financial. Marami ko natatanggap na email. FJ, hindi na siya nagsusupport. Ako na lang mag-isa. Okay? So, dyan pa lang, how would you heal financially? Maybe ngayon, naiisip mo na how, di ba? When it comes to your mental and emotional, yan lagi yung malaking naging impact. Di ba? And when it comes to your social as well, na healing, most of the time, natatago ka na lang sa kwarto, hindi ka na nga lumalabas. Or maybe you're trying to be aloof from everyone kasi you're ashamed of what's currently happening sa relationship mo. Or maybe ayaw mo na talaga makihalubilo kasi feeling mo you don't trust everyone na. Even yourself nga siguro, hindi mo na rin napagkakatiwalaan. Tama o tama? You don't anymore trust yourself when it comes to decision making. Tama pa ba 'to? You even ask me, may mga nag-e-email sa'kin, "FJ, bibigyan ko pa ba ng chance? FJ, tama ba 'tong ginagawa ko?" So, you normally want not only want but need validation. Kasi ngayon, maybe you don't know anymore how to decide. And that's why the lesson for this evening sa greatest comeback ko after my father's death is really about wisdom. Kasi sa recent experience ko with our father's death, maybe if iba pa yon, Maybe if I was my old self, like my mother's death, ilang months, umabot ng years kami naghinagpis and, depressed for so long. Kasi you don't know how to apply, how to move on easily. So, depression in many ways, in any areas of life, is just the same. Kapag nagtumagal ka sa depression stage, talagang tatagalan ka sa pag-move on. But the reason why I'm speaking here right now, and maybe you can hear me live na live, hopefully you can hear me, is actually because we have easily moved on from our father's death. Okay? So, that's why need mo rin makapag-move on agad-agad. And that's really my number one goal. Kasi if hindi ka makapag-move on agad, baka pati anak mo, madamay na. I remember the last time when I was on my deepest pain, I couldn't forget how I treated my son. Kahit sobrang mahal na mahal ko siya. Nasisigawan mo, napapalo mo, yung tipong hindi na normal na pagsigaw at pagpalo. I had anger issues. I acknowledged it. I was not the same person of who I am today. Kaya it's very, very important na magkaroon ka ng wisdom how to move out easily from that pain that you're experiencing right now. Okay? So, okay, I'm going to share now the the story. And speaking of holistic healing, and that's why number one talaga is spiritual healing. Kasi once you connect to your greatest creator, then everything follows. Dahil mas maiintindihan mo yung design ng marriage, mas maiintindihan mo why your husband behaved that way, and you can easily understand psychology. Kasi makukunik mo, ganito pala ang design ni Lord ng marriage. Ganito pala dapat mag-act ng isang babae. Ganito pala dapat ang mag-act rin, ang gawin din ng isang lalaki. Kaya pala, nahihirapan ako. Okay? And I hope na tumatak sa'yo yung story ngayon. If you have been my avid follower or subscriber through email and kahit dito sa Facebook, maybe through YouTube, then I hope kahit maybe you have your Bible app right now, or maybe you have your literal na physical Bible, that would really be cool. Then you can check right now from Joshua chapter 2. Okay. So I've already shared a bit from it to my students last Wednesday about the story. Okay, but I'm going to dig deeper ngayon kasi I've actually tested this tool as well last Wednesday. So medyo nagka-problema kami sa connection. And I hope ngayon is really much better na. So, wait lang ha. Joshua 2, babasahin ko muna, then I'm going to explain to you how wisdom is connected to the story that I'm going to share to you this evening. So, yesterday sa fellowship namin, sa family namin, I've also shared this story. And what's what's wonderful about this one is talaga nakarelate rin sila. Okay. So, ngayon, God imposed and I'm just checking if my live is having any sound. All right. Shared a bit from okay. To my students. I'm going to exit na dito. Okay. So, kahit sino na gusto mawin ang family, alam na alam nila kung ano yung struggle of winning your family closer to the Lord. And I'm just really blessed that God made ways. Number one na pinagpapasalamat ko during the lamay ng papa namin is nakapag-pundar na yung church namin every night ng words ni Lord, sharing God's words of wisdom. And my family, our extended families, are really very open to listening his words. And despite the differences in religion, just like here in Godly Builders, I'm not really promoting any religion because it's really the relationship with the Lord that's most important. So kahit anong religion mo ngayon, I hope na talagang pakinggan mo ng mabuti ano 'tong lesson, yung story na i-explain ko sa'yo ngayong gabi. Okay? So, Joshua 2 verse 1, chapter 2 verse 1. Then Joshua son of Nun secretly sent 2 spies from Shittim. So, if Moses is the number one na talagang ininstruct ka ni Lord na para sa escape. Parang pagtakas mo lang, 'di ba? Yung feeling mo, "I need to tumakas, mag-transfer na another lugar, FJ." Yung iba kong mga nag-email sa'kin, "FJ, okey lang ba? Okey lang ba na aalis na kami, iiwan ko na yung asawa ko, hindi na talaga ako wala talaga akong peace of mind." Okay? So, parang gano'n rin yung mga Israelites, okay? So, in their case, talagang nag-exodus na sila. So, during their exodus, it was Moses who led them, and now it's Joshua. So, I felt like nung namatay yung papa namin, I felt like I'm now Joshua. I'm now destined to really make our family, our relatives, his siblings closer together to one common goal. And kaya tumatak rin sa akin 'tong Joshua. Kaya ngayon sa pagbabalik ko, gusto kong i-share sa'yo ano yung lesson na tumatak sa akin. And if meron kang violent reaction, you can also type it in the comments para mamaya, 'di ba? Okay. So, Joshua, sabi dito, nagsendo siya ng 2 spies. Eto na yung papunta na sila sa promised land. Okay. So, kung may mga promises man si Lord sa buhay mo, there could be lots of challenges that you're experiencing right now. Parang mga Israelites din yan. Bago nila nakuha yung promise, they had experienced 40 years. 40 years sa desert dahil sa pagrereklamo nila. So baka ikaw ngayon, maybe you're also experiencing or complaining why this thing is happening to your relationship right now. The more you complain, the more you remain. And the more you praise, you will be raised. Sabi nga ng Joyce Meyer, di ba? So, nag-send si Joshua ng 2 spies para mag-espiya doon sa promised land na binigay sa kanila ng Lord. 'Di ba kung may regalo kang ibibigay sa anak mo, ano yung pinakauna-una na ginagawa ng anak mo kung excited siyang buksan ang regalo? Sige nga. 'Di ba normally, yung anak mo kung may regalo, aalog-alogin pa yun, anong tunog ng nasa loob? Or maybe kung may konting butas, sisilipin, 'di ba? Parang gano'n din yon sa mga Israelites. So these 2 spies were sent there to look, para tingnan kung kamusta naman yung promised land, if they're going to win the battle or not. Para sa relationship mo rin. Am I going to win this battle? Makakaya ko ba 'to? You're going to look everything, lahat ng aspects, mga messages ng mga mga messages out of you, spying his phone, or maybe spying his Facebook friends, kung sinong hina-heart niya, nila-like niya. Or so, you're spying. You're trying to see all aspects. Kung magiging okay pa ba after your careful deliberation. 'Di ba? So, you would need to look in advance. Parang ganito rin yung mga spies. So, ang sabi nila dito, they went and entered the house of, naku, so dinami-dami ng papasukin na bahay to spy. Bahay pa ng isang prostitute, 'di ba? Baka yung kabit ng asawa mo, isang dakilang pokpok, eto na, makinig ka ng mabuti kung ano nangyari sa pokpok na 'to, okay? And that's why this lesson is really very, very important for me to let you know right now kung anong impact ng wisdom kahit pa sa isang prostitute, kahit pa sa maging kabit or naging kabit, or kahit pa to anyone na feeling mo ang sama-sama. Okay? So this lesson is not only for you. This is also for others you know, or maybe to your greatest enemy right now. So kung sino yung iniisip ba kayo na kaaway mo, kailangan niya ng wisdom at malalaman mo dito sa story to kung bakit. Alright? So, sabi dito, they went and entered the house of a prostitute named Rahab and stayed there. So doon sila nagstay sa bahay ng isang prostitute na yon, sa bahay ng pokpok. And bakit? Bakit nga ba sila nagstay sa bahay ng pokpok? The king of Jericho was told, "Look, some of the Israelites have come here tonight to spy out the land." So, sabi ng king of Jericho, sabi niya, sinabihan yung king ng Jericho na may mga espiya ngayon from the Israelites pumunta sa lupa natin. Kasi, syempre, ito yung mga panahon na natatakot na sila. Kasi they have heard from the Marites, di ba? So, kung ngayong mga panahon, yung Marites yung tagapagdala ng issue, back then, syempre, marami ring mga Marites. So, they've learned already the background of the Israelites. So, they were already shaking in fear. So, later, I'm going to tell you deeper. Okay? So, the king of Jericho sent this message to Rahab. Diba? Out of all the people, yung hari malapit sa prostitute. Para ngayon lang, di ba? Yung mga nasa officials, government officials, I've heard some stories na malalapit talaga sila sa mga prostitute. They're paying, ba, nagbabayad to satisfy their physical needs. Di ba? So, meron nga akong mga students na naging politician yung husband nila. Okay? And, yeah, nakapag mayroong kabit, di ba? And the sad part is, ayaw pang aminin, or talagang pinanindigan si kabit. Siguro kung may kilala ka rin gano'n, alam mo na ako ng feeling, di ba? So, the reason why close yung king ng Jericho kay Rahab is this one. Dahil yung bahay niya is malapit sa gate, di ba? Sa Rahab na prostitute, parang lookout siya, malapit yung bahay niya sa gate ng Jericho. Diba? So the king of Jericho sent this message to Rahab, "Bring out the men who came to you and entered your house, because they have come to spy out the whole land." Ilabas mo sila! Sabi niya ganun. Kasi nagsaspyan sila sa whole land natin. But the woman had taken the two men and hidden them. She said, "Yes, the men came to me. Pumunta sila sa akin. But I did not know where they had come from. Pero hindi ko alam kung saan sila galing." Sabi ni Rahab. Sabi niya, "At dusk, when it was time to close the city gate, they left. Umalis naman sila." Sabi ni Rahab. "I don't know which way they went. Hindi ko alam kung saan sila pumunta. Go after them quickly. Habulin niyo sila." Sabi niya, "You may catch up with them. Baka maabutan niyo pa," sabi ni Rahab. So, Rahab, kanina I ask you if meron kang kilalang never pa nakapagsinungaling. In this case, Rahab, did she tell a lie or not? Diba? So she lied. She lied. But the very thing why she lied is merong reason. Okay? Verse 6, "But she had taken them off to the roof and hidden them under the stalks of flakes she had laid out on the roof." So, nag-lie siya na wala na sa bahay niya. But the truth is, nasa roof pala ng bahay niya. And tinakpan niya pa ng mga dayami, kumbaga. Diba? So, the men set out in pursuit of the spies on the road that leads to the fords of the Jordan. And as soon as the pursuers had gone out, the gate was shut. So, na-close na yung gate, 'di ba? And naniwala naman yung mga sinugo ng hari dun kay Rahab na umalis na at habulin yung mga spies without them really searching. Minsan 'no, talagang agad-agad tayong maniniwala sa isang tao. Parang ikaw, 'di ba? Nung una lahat-lahat ng sinasabi niya pinaniniwalaan mo agad. Pero ngayon, after him breaking your trust, halos lahat kine-question mo na. Aminin mo. Or maybe if napatawad mo na siya, there are times when the trust issue and you questioning him out of his answers, eh, really nangingibabaw pa rin. 'Di ba? So, verse 8, before the spies lay down for the night, she went up on the roof. And she said to them. So, yung pagtulong ni Rahab, 'di ba? First, bakit nga ba related yung wisdom dito ngayon? First, alam ni Rahab ano yung promise ni Lord sa mga Israelites. And these spies are Israelites. Alam niya na anong nangyari dito sa mga Israelites, kung paano nahati ang Red Sea, kung paano niya na-defeat yung mga kings. So, she's imagining herself, ako, katiting lang ako sa mga pwedeng gawin ni Lord sa kanila. So, she had the knowledge first, she understood what's gonna happen to her, and last, she had wisdom to choose to apply the right action para in the end, hindi siya mapahamak. Diba? So, wais din 'to, wais ito si Rahab. Parang siguro yung kabit rin ng husband mo, 'di ba? Or yung kilala mong naging kabit, naging wais din nung una. Pero ngayon, let's pray na maging wais na siya for the Lord. Kung noon, eh, wais siya na hindi for God's glory, ngayon, your aim should be she would have wisdom in line with God's wisdom. Okay? So, sabi to ni Rahab sa mga spies, verse 9. I know that the Lord has given you this land and that a great fear of you has fallen on us, so that all who live in this country are melting in fear because of you. Imagine mo na lang yung bakal or yung gold na nami-melt, di ba? So, imagine you are those Israelites na makita ka pa lang nung kabit, maybe ng husband mo, or maybe anyone trying to condemn you, nami-melt na sila sa takot. Kasi alam nila kung gaano ka-bless ni Lord. And once they hurt you, then grabe yung karma na aabutin nila. Okay? So, sabi ni Rahab dito, I know that the Lord has given you this land and that a great fear of you has fallen on us, so that all who live in this country are melting in fear because of you. We have heard how the Lord dried up the water of the Red Sea for you when you came out of Egypt, and what you did to Sihon and Og, the two kings of the Amorites east of the Jordan, whom you completely destroyed. So, alam nila anong nangyari sa dalawang king, sa kanilang kung paano sila totally na-wipe out, walang naiwan, babae man lalaki, pati mga baka, pati mga sheep, lahat-lahat sinunog. And they heard about how the Red Sea was divided. Okay? When we heard of it, our hearts melted. Inulit niya, nag-melt yung puso namin in fear. And everyone's courage failed because of you. For the Lord your God is God in heaven above and on the earth below. Sabi niya, now then, please swear to me by the Lord that you will show kindness to my family because I have shown kindness to you. So, conditional yung pagtulong niya. Kaya, naging wais siya. Bakit? She knows that when God is going to give na the blessing, the promised land sa mga Israelites, pati siya at ang family niya, damay-damay. Magiging abo. And that's why, naging sigurista na siya. Okay? And that's why, it's never bad kung ikaw maging sigurista. Maging sigurista as long as aligned to God's purpose for your life, as long as it is aligned to God's laws, it's never wrong to be sigurista. Kaya na Rahab, naging prostitute nga si Rahab pero naging sigurista siya, and here's what happened. Give me a sure sign. Sabi niya, sure sign. That you will spare the lives of my father and mother. Hindi lang buhay niyang inask niya. Sabi nga, di ba? Ask and it will be given. And she's a very big testimony of this. Sabi niya, hindi lang mama at papa, my brothers and sisters and all who belong to them, and that you will save us from death. Kasi alam niyang papatayin talaga sila. Sabi naman ng mga spies, kung si Rahab sigurista, yung mga spies sigurista rin. So parang siguro kabit lang yan ng husband mo. Or yung kilala mong maybe umaaway sa'yo ngayon, or maybe your greatest enemy. Kung sigurista siya, kung naging sigurista siya nung una, or maybe sigurista rin siya ngayon, na hindi mo na siya aawayin, hindi mo na siya ipapahiya sa social media after her moving away from your husband, then ikaw magiging sigurista rin. 'Di ba? So it's never wrong to do it. Just like what the spies did. Sabi ng spies, "Our lives, for your lives!" The man assured her, "If you don't tell what we are doing, we will treat you kindly and faithfully when the Lord gives us the land." Kung hindi mo sasabihin anong ginagawa namin, we will treat you kindly and faithfully, sabi niya. That's also the assurance of the spies. So, after niya pa tinago, tinulungan niya pa makatakas, 'di ba? Action taker din si Rahab. Here's why. So she let them down by a rope through the window, for the house she lived in was part of the city wall. She said to them, "Go to the hills so the pursuers will not find you. Hide yourselves there 3 days until they return, and then go on your way." So yung ginawa niya, sinave niya pa. Pero after that, meron ulit na conditional statement yung mga Israelites na spies. Now the man had said to her, "This oath you made us swear will not be binding on us unless," so hindi namin hindi kami mag-a-agree sa kasunduan natin unless, sabi niya, "when we enter the land, you have tied the scarlet cord in the window through which you let us down. And unless you have brought your father and mother, your brothers, and all your family into your house." So, kailangan na lahat ng request niya, mama, papa, brothers, and sisters, or relatives, lahat nasa loob ng bahay niya. If any of them go outside your house into the street, their blood will be on their own heads. We will not be responsible. As for those who are in the house with you, their blood will be on our head if a hand is laid on them. So, conditional din na dapat andun sila lahat kasi, syempre, how would they know na close yun or mama o papa ni Rahab if wala sa exact na bahay na yun? Sabi niya, "But if you tell what we are doing, we will be released from the oath you made us swear." So yung promise na yun, hindi mangyayari kung sasabihin niya anong nangyari, how did she help them, and what they did, plus if she's not going to tie that red rope sa window. And immediately, sabi ni Rahab, agreed. She replied, "Let it be as you say." So she sent them away, and they departed. And she tied a scarlet cord in the window. So kung merong promise si Lord sa'yo and merong conditional na instruction si Lord sa'yo, let this be a reminder na need mong mag-take action immediately. That's aligned with wisdom. Kasi if you're not going to take action and pabagal-bagal ka sa ginagawa mo, then you will be harmed. Kagaya lang yan ng dapat mong gawin right after his betrayal. Lalo-lalo na if bago ka pala naka-experience ng betrayal. So, need mong i-apply agad ano yung mga natutunan mo. Kasi just with information and understanding without you applying what you've learned, then ganun pa rin, depressed ka pa rin. No wonder you'll be depressed. Kahit sa mga students ko, sinasabi ko na, kahit isubo ko pa sa'yo yung need mong gawin, the how. If ikaw hindi mo ina-apply, ganun pa rin. So, it's all about you. You are the driver of your own life. Gaya na Rahab, she's the driver of her own life. She tied immediately the scarlet robe sa window para masave siya. When they left, they went into the hills and stayed there 3 days until the pursuers had searched all along the road and returned without finding them. Then the two men started back. They went down out of the hills, forded the river, and came to Joshua, son of Nun, and told him everything that had happened to them. They said to Joshua, "The Lord has surely given the whole land into our hands. All the people are melting in fear because of us." Sabi nila, tunay nga, Joshua. Nagme-melt sila sa fear dahil sa atin. Okay? So, yung next na chapter, 3, 4, 5, this is all about them crossing the Jordan River. Kung paano nahati. Kung si Moses, dagat yung nahati. Sa part naman ni Joshua, river naman yung nahati. So it's like, since siya yung assistant, mas konting body of water yung nahati sa kanya. Pero yung anointing niya, doble-doble rin. Okay? So, here's what happened to Rahab. Gusto ko lang i-highlight sa'yo, anong nangyari? How did she receive the blessing? So, eto na, Joshua chapter 6. If you have your Bible with you right now, then you can go ahead and check Joshua chapter 6. Okay? Now the gates of Jericho was securely barred because of the Israelites. No one went out and no one came in. So, eto na yung mga times na, you know, takot na sila. Completely talaga na secure yung gate ng city ng Jericho. Wala nang lumalabas, wala na rin pumapasok. Then the Lord said to Joshua, "See, I have delivered Jericho into your hands, along with its king and its fighting men. March around the city once with all the armed men. Do this for 6 days. Have 7 priests carry trumpets of ram's horns in front of the ark. On the 7th day, march around the city 7 times with the priests blowing trumpets." So, magbo-blow sila ng trumpets. I won't blow na lang. Baka sobrang tinis ng boses ko, lahat ng mga earwax mo dyan matanggal. When you hear them sound the long blast on the trumpets, have the whole army give a loud shout. Then the wall of the city will collapse and the army will go up, everyone straight in. So maybe next week, as I do this FJ Live Therapy, maybe I will show the exact text on screen kasi ngayon hindi ko siya na-prepare. So, my bad about that. Kasi syempre, para habang binabasa ko, mabasa mo rin. So Joshua son of Nun called the priest and said to them, "Take up the ark of the covenant of the Lord and have 7 priests carry trumpets in front of it." And he ordered the army, "Advance, march around the city with an armed guard going ahead of the ark of the Lord." So bale, I'm going to narrate it. What happened is, ito kasi yung isa sa greatest miracle din sa Bible. Kung paano yung wall ng Jericho, imagine mo na lang yung unang panahon, pagka tigas-tigas ng mga bato yung ginagawa nila into buildings and even walls. So those bigger stones, just imagine na umikot lang sila ng once from Monday to Saturday sa whole city. Then by Sunday, 7 times silang umikot without loud shout. Imagine yung city gate nag-bar down. Parang imagine mo na lang yung Great Wall ng China. Sa isang sigaw lang ng mga Israelites after the seventh time na umikot sila on the 7th day. Wasak yung city gate. So, paano ikaw rin? Just imagine kung paano ka nag-shout how you prayed so hard, and how you believed, how you had faith in the Lord, that you can conquer everyone who's trying to destroy you. When God is with you, who can be against you? Pakatandaan mo yan lagi. So the miracles of the past is still manifesting to today. I even remember no mga panahong buhay pa yung papa namin, we had only wished na makapag-share ng words ng Lord sa mga kapatid niya, sa mga pamilya nila. And we don't know how. Kasi it's normal naman in a family with relatives na may mga hindi napapagkasunduan minsan. It's it's happening kahit na sa pamilya mo siguro may mga gano'n, 'di ba? May mga misunderstanding sa magkakapatid, mga kapatid ng papa or mama mo. So, that's also that also happened in our family. So, God made ways na after his after our father's death, eh, we were united. And weekly, ayun, I was our weekly, I am having this conviction from the Lord to have fellowship with them. So we would gather and we would talk about God's goodness sa buhay namin, and I would share. Okay? So it's really beautiful. And walang imposible kay Lord. Kapag malakas ka kay Lord, He would make ways, beyond your understanding. So I remember that was third week of August when I told myself, this is it. Ito na yung time na magsa-start na kami ng fellowship. So I was praying for it. I did prayer and fasting, and our whole family even did fasting too. And suddenly our father died last week of August. And then merong delay, but that delay had a beautiful purpose. Nataniman din sila from our church. So when it was my time and I pushed it just this month, so mas open na yung heart nila. Parang siguro ganun yung sa relationship mo with your husband. Maybe some delays are really God's ways right now to fix something. Maybe sa end mo, or sa end ng husband mo, or sa end ng partner mo if hindi kayo kasal and both kayo is gusto naman maging maayos yung relationship mo. So, delays are sometimes wonderful as long as you're also doing something during the delay. You're working something out of yourself. Okay? So, mag-jump lang ako kasi ganun nga yung narration of what happened and how they conquered and how they have entered the city. And nung naka-enter na sila ng city, okay, when the trumpets sounded, the army shouted, and at the sound of a trumpet, when the men gave a loud shout, when the men gave the loud shout, the wall collapsed. The wall collapsed. Uulitin ko yun. Okay? So everyone charged straight in, and they took the city. They devoted the city to the Lord and destroyed with a sword every living thing in it. Men and women, young and old, cattle, sheep, and donkeys. Joshua said to the two men who had spied out the land. So yung dalawang spy na yon, sila din yung in-instruct ni Lord na i-save si Rahab na isang prostitute kasi meron siyang oath or promise kay Rahab, tinulungan siya, 'di ba? Go into the prostitute's house and bring her out and all who belong to her, sabi ni Joshua, in accordance with your oath to her. So the young man who had done the spying went in and brought out Rahab, her father and mother, her brothers and sisters, and all who belonged to her. They brought out her entire family and put them in a place outside the camp of Israel. So, sinave nila si Rahab, pati yung mga pamilya niya. Then they burned, imagine, they burned the whole city and everything in it. So you can just imagine, if Rahab didn't apply what she understood out of the information that she learned about the Israelites, what do you think would happen to her? Magiging abo rin siya. 'Di ba? Kasi nga, they burned the whole city and everything in it. But they put the silver, the gold, and the articles of bronze and iron into the treasury of the Lord's house. But Joshua spared Rahab the prostitute with her family and all who belonged to her, because she hid the men Joshua had sent as spies to Jericho. And she lives among the Israelites to this day. No wonder hanggang ngayon may history pa rin ng mga kabit. Kasi back then, na-save ang isang prostitute. Kung prostitute yung kabit ng husband mo, then yeah, may historical background din yan, yung mga prostitute. Mula noon hanggang ngayon, meron talaga mga prostitute. But, again, I'm reminding you, if that prostitute is going to have the right wisdom, she can still receive the blessing. So don't judge her, okay? We can never judge anyone. And if ever naman na magalit ka sa naging kabit ng husband mo, or naging kalandian niya, naging, you know, baka naging ka-chat niya man lang, niya lang yun, naglandian lang sila. It's valid if you get angry. I won't condemn you. It's a natural feeling, okay? But at the end of the day, you should redeem yourself. Kasi we can never judge anyone. Si Lord yung bahala sa kanya. Lahat naman tayo nakikita ni Lord yung ginagawa at laman ng puso natin. Then, etong pinaka-importante. At that time, Joshua pronounced this solemn oath. Pakinggan mo. Cursed before the Lord is the one who undertakes to rebuild this city, Jericho. Cursed daw yung magre-rebuild ng Jericho, the city. At the cost of his firstborn son, he will lay his foundations. At the cost of his youngest, he will set up its gates. So the Lord was with Joshua, and his fame spread throughout the land. Kapag may kaaway ka, she can either pronounce blessing or curse. Much more kung kinakalaban ng kaaway mo ay isang malakas kay Lord. So, may history yung pag-pronounce ng curse at blessing. That's why, if in the past, yung mga lahi-lahi mo ay may history ng, pag-aaway sa mga malalakas kay Lord, most especially maybe the history of the Israelites, you never know. Maybe 1,000 generation, connected pala sa Israelites yon. No wonder, maybe hanggang ngayon, hindi ka pa nakaka-break out sa curse. I tell you, generational curses really do happen. And that's why, need ng deliverance. That's a deep topic to talk about. But for today, what I'm telling you is you need to have wisdom. And here's how you can have wisdom. So, if until right now, andito ka pa ngayon with me live, then live mo rin maririnig how you can have the right wisdom. Okay? Kasi, importante nga again ang wisdom when it comes to your decision making. How you can have and apply the right decision sa buhay mo. So, isa lang ang sasabihin ko sa'yo. You can have, through the story, maybe you already really knew it by heart. You can only apply wisdom and choose to follow wisdom, lalo-lalo na God's wisdom, if, number one, you have this fear of the Lord. Kung may takot ka kay Lord. Remember Rahab? Alam niya na ang buong lahi niya nagme-melt na. So, if wala siyang fear of the Lord, naturally, she won't have any guilt para sabihin sa mga sinugo ng hari na, hey, andun sa rooftop ko, yung mga spy from Joshua. So, ganun lang naman kasimple yun. Okay? Kaya no wonder, wag ka nang magtaka kung hanggang ngayon, gusto mo talaga na, you know, makonsensya na yung kabit or maybe yung husband mo sa ginagawa nila. Kasi conscience would only be there once may fear of the Lord. And that's why, kung may fear of the Lord ang isang buong family, if your whole house serves the Lord genuinely, kasi kahit nga mga alagad ng simbahan, 'di ba, nate-tempt na mag-cheat. Bakit? Mas malaki ang temptation when you're serving the Lord. Kasi hindi natutuwa yung Satanas. Satan wouldn't be happy if you and your family is serving the Lord. He would do everything to destroy you. And that's why, mas malaki dapat yung gagawin mo rin na shield to protect your whole family. And if your whole family still doesn't fear the Lord, and ano yung pwede maging karma na mangyayari once you're not going to follow God's design of marriage and His kingdom principles, then naturally, huwag ka na magtaka kung bakit hanggang ngayon hindi pa naayos yung relationship or marriage mo. But again, don't blame yourself kasi, like I always say, it takes two to tango. Hindi pwede na ikaw yung may gusto maayos yung relationship mo, ikaw lang yung mag-work out para both kayo maging okay. Kaya nga sa Healing After Cheating program ko, eh, importante na before you proceed to couples counseling, ayusin mo muna yung sarili mo. How you're going to grow yourself and how you're going to have the right healing after cheating. Kasi napaka-importante na alam mo yung step by step how moving forward, kung ready na kayo both na mag-upgrade and mag-rebuild ng marriage niyo after betrayal, ikaw mismo natulungan mo muna yung sarili mo. Kasi I tell you, magiging times 10 lang yung pain mo, yung trust issues mo kung hindi mo muna tinulungan yung sarili mo, 'di ba? So help yourself for you to help your husband also if he's already okay and if he's ready to work it out with you. All right? So that's it for this evening. And I hope may natutunan ka sa video na to. If you ever learned something, let me know in the comments. What's your greatest takeaway? Ano yung greatest lesson na nakuha mo sa video na to? And when you do that, it would be a message to me to continue this Friday 9 p.m. for Jesus live therapy. Kasi if I wouldn't know that it's helpful for you, might as well end this free value that I am actually giving every Friday. But if you're going to let me know through the comment section that this is really helpful for you and you're learning something or whatever you've learned, then anyway, it's a way you're sending the message to me that, yeah, FJ, I've learned something from you and here's what I've learned. So I'd be motivated to continue what I'm doing. All right? And of course, as always, I'm just here cheering you on to your healing after cheating journey. God bless you. Bye.